Welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to take a look at a kind of an interesting cruising boat, the Aquila 36 Sport. It's a little bit different. It's a cruising catamaran, of which there really aren't a lot. Coming up. As I said, is an interesting boat. She's a cruising catamaran, and there really aren't many cruising catamarans in this size. Aquila makes boats from about 28 feet up to 70 feet, which are spectacular, and we'll have to take a look at that one. But for the most part, there really aren't any cruising catamarans. There are catamaran center consoles, of which there's a number of excellent boats out there, but for a cruising boat, there really aren't that many. And if you stay tuned to the end of the video, we will do a run-through of the numbers and see what it typically costs to own and operate a boat like this. If you take a look at last week's video, which I will link in the comment section below, we talked about how you can get an estimate using the Cruising Calypso model to see what it's going to cost you on average to operate your boat. So stay tuned to the end and you'll have that. The Aquila 36, while having cruising capabilities, is also a great day boat. All the way forward, she has accommodations as a bow rider, so there's room up there to spend time day, but it also leaves room in the cabin. What's unique about catamarans is that the accommodations are in each hull. So in each hull, they are identical. There is a stateroom and a head, and then between them is the salon, and all the way forward is the bow rider section, which doesn't impinge at all on the cruising area or on the staterooms. So it's a really nice combination. The overall beam is 14 feet, and the reason I mentioned that one in particular, because we'll look at the specs coming up, but it's at 14 foot, that's about the same as Calypso. So it is possible to put the 36 in a dock, whereas if you talk about the larger catamarans, the Fountain Pajots and the Leopard Power Cats, those boats have beams approaching 20 feet, which really puts them too wide for most slips. So the Aquila will still fit inside of a slip. So let's talk about her specifications. Overall, she's 36 feet long. As I mentioned earlier, she has a beam of 14 feet 7. Her waterline is 30 feet. And her displacement is about 14,500 pounds. Fully loaded, she's talking about 21,000 pounds. So while she's not a huge boat for 36 feet, she's comparable to a similar monohull of similar length. In terms of power, as I mentioned, she's outboard. She comes with 300 horsepower Mercury Verados. She is able to take the 400 horsepower Verado if you want a little bit more speed. Because the boat's a catamaran, she has an interesting feature between the engines. You can see the platform she has, which is her swim platform, but it's unimpeded by the outboards. Kind of a special feature because the engines are spaced so far apart. So as promised, here is the Cruising Calypso boat cost estimator, we'll call it. So we start by putting in the information about the Aquila 36. We put in her length, her beam, the estimated cost, and for the cost of this boat, I've seen used ones in the $600,000 to $700,000 range, so we'll use that as our number. We'll say that we are financing the boat with 30% down and that we're going to keep the boat on a mooring. So let's see how the numbers turn out. So as you can see here, the overall annual cost is about $22,000 to own and operate the Aquila 36. Now that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but for comparison, you have to look at what it would cost to have a summer house where you might stay for a weekend or go for a week on the shore. The biggest piece of the cost, of course, is the loan. Although at $960 a month, it's not too bad. Then the rest of the costs are as you can see. So this tool helps you see not only the cost, but what is the biggest chunk of it. You can see that if we were to drop off the loan and you were to pay cash for this, then you'd basically cut the ownership costs in half. I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. Next week we will do another exciting boat. Stay tuned and we'll see you next time.